What's up guys, I'm J-Rod of battlebrawlerproductions. For your new channel, welcome. Craft amazing comic style illustrations for a variety of different mediums. And we have been crafting those illustrations through a variety of different mediums for over 2 years in this space. That's incredible to me. I've been so blessed with this space to make art in. And for those of you who have not been keeping up with the vlogs, I recently announced that me and my wife will be moving into our own space. We have an apartment we got approved for, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and one of those bedrooms will be a dedicated studio space. We will no longer be confined to the little 4x5 area that we have here. We're gonna have a whole room that we can make art in that is literally double this space. And that is insane to me because I started this YouTube channel, for those of you who don't know, as a 14-year-old kid with a camera talking about toys. I would do toy reviews, little action figure rants, comic book rants, stop motion, and eventually that fueled my love for film and animation. And I originally would film in my bedroom. Then when I moved to Virginia, I would film in my bedroom, but with more space. And now, moving back to my childhood home to take care of my grandfather before he passed, I was able to take this space back, which I originally used to play in as a kid, and turn it into a dedicated studio separate from my bedroom. I thought it would be really fun to do a final studio tour. This is going to be an interesting video. I want to document the studio and show you guys what I've been working with. Then we're going to set up into the new studio. Now, I film and do art in this space practically every day. So even though I'm going to be moving into a new space, it may actually be a while before you guys see it in the normal videos, mainly because I have filmed quite a bit in advance. So even though we'll have a new studio space and we'll do a full studio tour in the new area and we're going to see it in the vlogs, you guys may not see it in the weekly video. So I just want to keep that in mind. With that said though, let's go ahead and start the studio tour. Here is the entrance to the garage. Yeah, I know this side is messy, but that's not my side. This is my corner, quite literally. Right behind me is the rest of the garage. This was my grandfather's work area, and we converted it into a studio/library to hold a small portion of his book collection. My dad also uses this as a hangout area to watch football, film his podcast, teach remotely, and also just do his normal teaching schoolwork. I cleaned the garage, and I got this small corner. I cleaned the garage, and my dad gets the rest. Boomer parents, am I right? I kid. But I am excited to document my quite literal 4x5 corner of the garage. So with that said, let's go ahead and head into the studio. And this here is a table my grandfather made. It held all his computers. He was a system analyst. Right now, it's holding some extra junk from the house because we're still doing some of the flooding that happened with the hurricanes. Also, I was meant to have a little bigger space because this was not here originally. It was just this cooler here. They added this one in here for the AC, so that ate up a big space that I had. Slightly unfortunate, but hey, it's Florida, we gotta have AC. Going into the studio, I will say I painted this wall red, needed an accent wall, needed a color wall. The original color of this was this slight pink that's here on the other side, and originally my idea was to have this be the background where I film. Fortunately, it didn't work out space-wise, so it became what I look at to get inspiration, and then you guys, when I filmed the talkie parts, see this side. Walking in, we're gonna start right here under the table, because this section here became a perfect little nook for all my random surfaces to draw on that were too big for this shelf right here. You name it, I have it. Busted canvases, unopened canvases, giant sheets of arches, watercolor booklet that my friend Bianca gave me, palette that my friend Bianca gave me, a giant roll of loose canvas. Like, pretty much I have it all here. In fact, speaking of giant roll of canvas, here's a giant roll of canvas. This, by the way, does not include the studio because this is Sarah's bookshelf, but yeah, I have quite a bit of stuff in here. And I have to say, this has been a pretty awesome little nook just to store these random things that, quite frankly, I wouldn't have been able to store anywhere else. Now, going from this side of the studio to this side of the studio, here we're starting to get stuff that, if you've watched my videos since Virginia, feel a little more familiar. So when I'm sitting at my desk right here, which, by the way, this space is barely big enough for one person, let alone two. So when I film with Sarah or Alex, it's quite difficult. But one of the reasons for that is not only just because of the space, but because I like to be able to grab anything that I think I need need for a project right away, especially when I'm in a creative mood. I keep pretty much my favorite brushes right here on the desk. I have a bunch of pens, ink, pencil sharpeners, pencils, mechanical pencils, pretty much you name it, it's generally going to be in this right here. Under it is a box that holds some extra cups. Over here, I have this little display in here, which is made from a Super Mario popcorn bucket. It's the question block, so I have that pushed in here, and then it holds some extra sponges. It also holds some brushes that I like to use, but they're not as important as these brushes here. So for our 1-year anniversary, me and Sarah did pottery, and I made this inkwell that holds my dip pens. So that chills right here. These really big brushes, so these are really good to have. I also have varnishes. These varnishes come in handy. Brush soap, and in here, again, while I'm working, I need to be able to grab stuff. If I need 91% alcohol spray, if I need water, if I need a towel. This right here is just a Batman mug that I just keep brushes in. If I need tape, it's here. And then going into it again, which I usually keep some stuff on the side. For example, in the corner here, I have a heat gun, mixing tray, tape. This guy here just holds old cards that I use for splatter, a shot glass for filling with ink or paint. I got my Wacom tablet over here. I got paper towels in here. I have a little green screen here. And then going over here, I have quite a few paint mediums. Congealed Oxcal, Gum Arabic. I also have some acrylic mediums. And in here, I like to keep my non-waterproof colored inks, black inks, extra nibs, and over here, just some random stuff. So this, like literally every aspect of this is used in some way. In fact, this drawer here, this is my junk drawer, and I hate it because every time I organize it, it gets dirty. But I have hot glue guns, hole punchers, little pumps to move alcohol ink, giant googly eyes, extra masks. Like, this is a mess. I need to fix it. It's the only thing in the studio that really bothers me outside the size of the studio. This drawer right here is actually super important because not only does it hold my watercolor tin of 52 custom colors, but it holds the majority of my acrylic paint. All of my acrylic tubes are in here, ranging from Winsor Newton, Utrecht, Liquitex, Deco, and I also have all my paint pens. My metallic watercolor palette is here, masking fluids right here, my travel watercolor brushes. These guys here are alcohol inks that are too big to fit on my alcohol marker shelf, so they chill in here. You know what else chills in here? These golden high flows, ink cleaners, random paint thinners, my black 3.0, so kind of a hodgepodge drawer of mostly acrylics, but not all of my acrylics because as you probably saw, I have some acrylics right there. But yeah, this guy is a super big lifesaver, but so is pretty much everything in here, including this guy here. So not only does it hold my TV, but I have a lot, and I do mean a lot of art supplies right here in this space. Yeah, I do have my dirty gouache palette, which yes, is very dirty. I also have my wet gouache palette here, which is nice because it can keep gouache and watercolor fresh for up to 2 days. Pretty much every other spray thing that I have, like yeah, I have some varnishes and 1 can of white spray paint here. Everything else is here. This UV varnish that I love, these glitter varnishes, hot neon pink and royal blue, a spackle effect, crackle, the glow in the dark, and these right here I actually use quite a bit. These are really good for just random odd job projects, but the Blick Fluid acrylics really come in handy. I have quite a few ranging in size, so I have the large and the small. Pretty much everything here I got on clearance or sale at Blick. Isopropyl alcohol I just got at a normal hardware store. This guy I got for free. This dude was clearance. These bags were clearance. These were clearance. A lot of the stuff in here are for really big future projects that I'll do in the new studio. Also, when I mentioned that me and my wife did pottery and we made the inkwell, we also made this right here, which I think is super cool. It's a nice little bowl, and I also have a candle in here. It's one of my favorite candles. It's coffee flavored. Super nice. Continuing on the top shelf, we have the TV. This right here is a gift from Alex, and unfortunately I do have speckles of paint on it. I love this thing. I watch a lot of TV. My only complaint is I don't have enough room to set up a DVD player in here. On this top shelf, I have a couple fun random finds. A little UFO lamp. I have this dragon that was a gift from Alexis, a D&D slime, these eggs that turn into dinosaurs. I also have that cool little Batman. If you open it, it's actually a little figure. UFO lamp. These really cool little custom Lego figures, including one that I made look like myself. This guy here, I think this was me and Sarah's 5th anniversary when we were dating, so I have that little knight that I made on Hero Forge. Now moving on to the rest of the shelf, these are 5 sketchbooks that I filled up. I also have this children's book in here because my mom has always wanted to make a children's book. This is similar to what she wants to do, so I just have that here for her. Got some tracing paper, got notepads, and then I have some light bulbs in here. Now this is a very, and I do mean very important shelf because this is pretty much where the majority of my everyday art paper comes from. And yeah, It is literally jam-packed. It is super tight. Whenever I'm in the mood for whatever, I can just grab the paper and make art with it. I got black paper, watercolor paper, mixed media paper, render, smooth Bristol, Bristol vellum, hot press, cold press. If it's paper and it exists, probably in here in some way. And now on the second to mid shelf, I do behind here have some random junk that's stored there. This right here is my current sketchbook just to sketch characters and ideas. This right here is my watercolor sketchbook. This is my Illo sketchbook for final characterization design. This is my black sketchbook. This is my novelization sketchbook. This is a damaged render sketch, random scrap boards that I use for random projects. A compressor, which if you look over here, got the hose, plug in right here, plugs in right there, and yeah, I can airbrush, which is super nice. Now the rest of the video is going to be me sitting in my swivel chair because that's pretty much how you're going to experience the rest of the studio. I do have a ring light right here. Also have some decorated mushrooms chilling on it. This is just on a basic boom arm, so it's super posable. Not a lot of posters, especially compared to what I had in Virginia, but Virginia was excess. This I think is the right amount. So I have some of my most favorite Batman posters. Quite literally some of these I've had since I was a kid. I also have my favorite Batman quote, "Everything's impossible until somebody does it." It's such a great quote. I find it super inspirational. Of course, I have my laptop here, have my external hard drive. Normally this chills right here while I'm working. This right here is a arm that my camera is attached to and pretty much what I use to film off of. It's really good. I have the cords, I have everything set up already. I literally just set up the camera, tighten this so it doesn't move, plug the cord in. I do also have an audio jack plug into the camera, and that mic is actually right behind me. So this just extends outward and is over my head. But this is a drafting table that has seen better days, unfortunately. It does lift up. In the drawer, I have a couple stuff, random tools, and of course, random rulers, which is always good to have. These are Aaron's Thinking Putty jars that I've reused for cords and flash drive. Same thing with old master containers. These things are really good just for random storage. I got my headphones in here too. This drawer has a really important purpose, figures that I use as references. So I have a Bodykun, SH Figuarts Bodykun, the Dungeons & Dragons Owlbear knockoff Bodykun, female version, accessories, even more accessories. I won't even open that, it's just full of toy weapons. A skull, a coffin, circle template. Going to the side, we have this little table here that just folds in, and I have quite a bit of random storage. Really cool knickknacks, nothing too crazy. Like I do have like the Faber-Castell Pit Pen set here. I have this, which was a gift from Patty. T-Rex I bought with my cousin Jason. Speaking of Jason, I also have the Wolverine figure that he gave me. I have some Legos in here. Oh, and speaking of gifts, Mikey, he gave me this guy right here for my pens. So I have random pens in here. I have the Batman Buddha that Sarah got me. I have that really cool Batman figure my old boss gave me, Daniel, so that was really cool. Lego T-Rex. So I have random things on this that just kind of inspire me that I really like to look at while I'm working. So for example, RJ McCready from one of my favorite movies, John Carpenter's The Thing, and Kurt Russell's one of my favorite actors. So it's just fun stuff like that that really warms my heart. This here is where I keep a lot of the external hard drive. Then here I pretty much just have random stuff. So there's some clay in here, and there's also these jars that I'll be using to make some custom paint. So have some 11 by 14 canvases that I forgot I had over here. And the best part about having an office chair, instant drop, the tech storage. So yeah, I do pretty much have all my like camera bits here, my trash cans right here, and I do have a light tablet and an extra laptop for rendering. So pretty much all that random jazz is just chilling right in here. Personally, I pretty much never use what's here down. Moving over here, you can see in the middle, I have a little mixing guide, and I also have a color wheel. This was the original AC that my grandfather had put in here. Unfortunately, it is both broken and too powerful. It doesn't have the proper cooling unit, and you can't buy it anymore. I mean, this thing has been here since my grandfather built this house in the 70s, and this thing is so powerful that if I was to turn it on, it would literally short everything in here and kill the power instantly. It's insanely power draining. I do have a different form of AC, this nice little fan, and it's actually pretty powerful. Like, that's level 1. Level 3, you get really cold in here, so if it's warm, which it's Florida, this thing is a lifesaver. I also have this guy right here, which is my little drawing board. I do have a cord to charge my phone, and then going on to this part right here, this is probably the most important shelf in the studio. It's the one that I use practically every day, and that's because not only does it hold my alcohol markers, markers, but it has a lot of bulk art supply storage. So for example, yes, pieces that I am currently working on do tend to just kind of chill up here, but I have a couple stuff behind it. I have a pasta roller, a Game Boy, some cards here, but I also have my portfolio and my swatch book. Of course, the alcohol markers themselves, which are, wow, this is kind of crazy. Like, I have always loved alcohol markers, but guys, this is a lot. Opening the drawer here, actually we'll start from the bottom. So the bottom drawer has a blanket because when I'm working on art stuff, Coco just sits in there and chills with me, and it's super nice. Then there's this drawer right here, which is, yes, as you can see, the ruler slash template drawer. I have a lot of my stencils, templates, rulers, you name it, it's in here. Except for the really, really big ones. I have two 50-inch metal rulers and a couple T-squares that are in storage that do not fit in here. This is one of my favorite drawers that I have. Random blending pads, mechanical erasers, the Copic marker holder, a 120 pencil holder, Winsor Newton charcoal pencils, a Blick compass, sculpting tools, a circle radius cutter, sticky tack, bunch of pencil sharpeners, Q-tips for inking. These are reused marble slime tins that hold needed erasers, erasing dinosaurs I got as a gift from Bianca, my X-Acto cutting tool set, which was a gift from my wife, my first set of drawing pencils when I started drawing and art in college, Lyra pencils, watercoloring pencils, Prismacolor watercoloring pencils I got from Bianca, my collection of Prismacolor pencils, it's more than 24, my Caran d'Ache coloring pencils, my random pencils and mechanical pencils that there's no room in the display, and then my lead collection has all my leads, both colored, different hardnesses, there's erasers in there, this thing holds literally everything, even pencil extenders. I actually had to change batteries while filming, and right over here is where I plug in batteries to charge. So just thought I'd show that off real quick before we move on to the top drawer where the big toys are. So opening this up, this is the drawer that I use constantly. Every day I'm in the studio, I open this drawer at least 2 times. So on this side here, we have my personal favorite inks. For example, Blick's Black Cat ink, Higgins drawing ink, the new Pantone inks, and I also have gray inks in here. For example, I have this gray acrylic ink. I also have this UV optic ink. I have Sumi inks. I have pretty much, if it's an ink that I really like, it's in here. I also have my fine liners. Now, I have these organized in a very unique way. I have gray and red, black, and then colored fine liners. Now, these fine liners are all waterproof. They are waterproof and marker proof. I can use them in my mixed media art, so that's why they are chilling right in here. I have some Faber-Castell, Tombow Fununusky, Micron, Copic, you name it, it's pretty much in here. This spot right here is for white inks and colors blending ink for alcohol, so I do have a cleanup and a extender alcohol ink in here. I also just have a normal alcohol ink extender, and then of course I have a bunch of different types of white ink, ranging from something that's acrylic based like the Golden High Flow to big whiteout, my custom poster paint, acrylic wash, normal just thin down fluid acrylic. If it's white and in a bottle, it's in the spot right here. If it's white and in a pen, it's in this spot right here. I have several, oh wow, I actually have 4 of these Presto guys. I also have Edding, I have Tombow, I have Signo. I actually have like several of these because I have some on the other side. This is the drawer that I use honestly the most. Next, the water heater. Yes, even I use the water heater for storage. Obviously, a couple things. For one, great place to put a tripod, great place to put a drying rack. This right here is a giant inkwell, which is amazing. I kind of want to fill it with ink and find like a jar that will fit it. I also have a 3D color wheel. I have this little Pokemon dude here, Blue Eyes White Dragon. I have this bottle of Extreme Coke that was a gift from my grandfather. And speaking of gifts, I also have this custom Pokeball that Patty made. And then on the water heater, I have this Mothman magnet, Batman magnet. I have a mirror, not because I'm vain, but because oftentimes I have to check my hair to make sure it looks good when I'm filming, but it's also good to see my own expressions when I draw. I have planet magnets, which are pretty fun. I also have a little Dachshund magnet. Nicole made me this awesome sticker. Everyone loves my wiener. And then I have this Coke can T-Rex that I personally cannot tell you where I got this from, but I love it. It's super cool. I also have these guys here. So this is a local artist in West Virginia that does this really cool art style. So I have Mothman and I have a bat, specifically a house bat, which is very common up in West Virginia. And then over here, I have some artwork. Starting at the top, that is a local artist. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on her name? She's super sweet. We share the same birthday. I want to say her name started with a J. I also have this piece of Jazzer artwork that I got in the Carryall studio. Mackenzie McClure gave me that piece. And then I also have this right here. Always wanted to have a character done, so me and Sarah got one done, which was super awesome. And then we go over here to this guy. I like to call the 18 and 24 club. So if it's 18 and 24, it lives in here. It's random sheets of paper, random canvases, you name it, it's chilling in here. So this bookshelf, it's thick, it's strong, it's sturdy, I love the color, and I have quite a bit of random stuff in there. That is the popcorn bucket for the Batman, which was the first collectible popcorn bucket I got, and it holds my giant paintbrushes that are comedically big. I also have this Star Wars Coca-Cola bottle and several blacklights for my blacklight art. I have Red Riot from My Hero Academia and His Unbreaking form, and these little stuffed axolotls from Patty, which was an awesome gift. I also have that little card for my wife for our 2-year anniversary, and a little inking calligraphy set. Going on to the bookshelf itself, we have the top shelf, which is the Kirby shelf. Jack Kirby is my all-time favorite artist, so of course I had to put all my Jack Kirby books on the top shelf. This shelf right here is kind of random miscellaneous resources, like I have a book on bats, I have a book on Dracula, I have the complete works of Lovecraft, I have a book on horror movie posters, Justice League Unwrapped and Batman Unwrapped, which are the version artworks. I have Kingdom Come in here, I have the works of Winsor McKay, this random comic, like I have a lot of random stuff in here, but this is artwork that inspires me. And I also have this shelf right here, which are art books that I use constantly. In fact, when I did my top 10 favorite books that I learned to draw from, pretty much came from this shelf here. Drawing Beautiful Women the Frank Cho Method, to drawing comics the Marvel way, The Art of Comic Book Inking by Gary Martin, making comics. And by the way, this is 2 layers. There are books behind these. Going to the lower shelves, it continues on to more artsy books. So Icons is a book on Jim Lee's art, Ditko Unleashed is a book on Ditko, you have Steve Root's art book. This guy right here is really good because this is Alex Toff's work in animation. Pencils by Frank Cho, the art of Jose Gonzalez. You also have the history of Ghostbusters, a couple volumes of Sin City. This book right here I stole from my dad, so this is a book on boxing. Alex Ross books here. Jerry and the Joker, which is a really good book on the artist that worked on Batman. Yeah, I have a lot of books. Let me just say this. This right here, this shelf is jam-packed, and I have a couple more books. So as much as I love this shelf, I might have to get rid of it and get a bigger shelf. I also have this, which was my original filming mount for my camera. Of course, I mentioned the mic already. So that was one of the first pieces of artwork I made in this house. It was a Gluttonous Halloween, which is a quick marker and watercolor piece of my supervillain Gluttony. But now I have even cooler artwork. So I'm gonna save the one I'm the most excited for last. I have this, which was a gift from my friend, and she loved it, and then I printed it and framed it because I also like it. But then I have this piece right here. This was a Christmas gift from my friend Elise, who is an incredibly amazing artist. She is super talented, and this is one of the coolest pieces of art I've ever been given, and I'm so thankful that she made this for me. So it chills right here, so when I film, you guys see it in the background. Now I also have this, which was a gift from my wife. Really cool street sign printed on metal, and it has a QR code that takes you right to my LinkedIn tree, which is super cool. And then this guy here is Bill the Bat. He just chills right here in the background, and yes, he is named after Bill Finger, the co-creator of Batman. While I was filming, my butt brushed against this and broke it, so now I don't have a place for my shot glass or my gift cards. Oh no. This popcorn bucket is just chilling here for now, but will have a better home. In fact, if I wasn't moving out of this space, I would honestly just put it on the water heater and just reorganize it. But this is the popcorn bucket from Nosferatu, and it will be where I put all Dr. P.H. Martin's Radiant Concentrated watercolors, which are chilling in this drawer right now, and majority of these were given to me by my friend Mike. So thank you very much, Mike. This right here is kind of my knickknack wall. Like, yes, it serves a purpose, but 99% of it is just knickknacks. All my pop vinyl figures are just chilling right there. Then I have these guys, like that Zorro. Absolutely love that Zorro. That is one of my favorite pop vinyl figures. This, absolutely awesome. The Graphics World exhibit, which is the first museum I've been accepted into. A pin I got when I graduated college. Custom magic card that my wife made me for our 1-year anniversary. So it has a bunch of fun little Easter eggs and details. It's just such a sweet gift. I love it. And then here we have my absolute favorite part of the studio, the gouache wall. And yes, that is what I call it. And yes, it is beautiful. This thing is so cool. And I love that all of my gouache and all my watercolors, which gouache is my favorite paint medium, it's my favorite medium excluding ink, that I can just go in, grab any color I need, and it's right there organized. And I have the gouache and watercolor separate. This is such a great thing to have in the studio. It comes in handy so much. I love this so much, in fact, that in the new studio, I'm going to recreate the gouache wall even better. I also have this shelf right here that has a couple Batman figures. This right here is my big box of inking. Inside are my ink supplies, such as tools. I do keep my nibs in a coffin. And then my absolute favorite inks, which are are pretty much the Winsor Newton drawing inks, except for 2 of them, chill in here. Now, the 2 that are not my favorite do still chill in there. Do want to clarify that, but it's one of those things where they just kind of do their thing in here, and I really like that they have their own box. And then this wooden box behind it, I have a couple water-soluble colored pencils, water markers, and a couple tubes of acrylic wash that I have chilling in here. Now, this right here was a gift from my lovely wife. I think this was our first Christmas that we were married together. So I have a little cutting board here. Yes, I use every little bit of space I can. I also have a little paint palette right there that just chills there. This was a gift from my friend Sam. She hand crocheted this for me. I have my favorite dice in this bag. Starting at the bottom, I have this guy right here, a clipboard with cute pictures of dogs. But I also have several blank comic book pages that I plan to draw on, and then I also have this guy right here. So this is the Battle Cat figure from the new He-Man toy line. It's good to have a reference for drawing big tigers. This drawer here is my art drawer. So if I have a piece of artwork that I like, but it's not good enough for the portfolio, it goes in this drawer. And also pieces of planned artwork goes in here. So if I did like a sketch or I did a lot of prep work for a piece, it also goes in here. I also have this shelf right here, which are future drawings. So these are blue lead sketches that I do in my free time for random videos, and yeah, so you can get a little sneak peek to some of the future stuff that I'll be making on the channel. It's quite a good range of different sizes, so it's not consistent. The majority is 11 by 14, but sometimes I do something bigger, sometimes I do something smaller, sometimes I do something weird. So these are art supplies that I have not reviewed yet. So everything in this drawer will be a future video. This drawer here is the same thing, not ink or paint. It's just dip pens or fun random papers or new mediums or full-on video essays I'm going to do about Black Wings, talking about the history of it. Now this drawer here are black inks that I have reviewed. So these are inks that I enjoy to use or think they have a very specific purpose, or I just didn't feel like throwing them away because they cost money. Essentially, that's what this drawer is. This right here is a cigar box that holds a lot of my airbrush supplies. So if I open this up here, you can see I have my airbrushes just chilling in here, which yes, I will be doing some airbrush videos in the future, so look forward to that. These are all of my colored inks and a little bit of paint. Random alcohol inks, random drawing inks, my tester's paint, this ink here that I got from my friend Patty, the new Pantone drawing inks are chilling in the back. That right there is some custom skin tone that I mixed, and yes, there is model paint in there. Those inks in the back were a gift from Sarah. So yeah, this drawer is absolutely full, which means that when I actually get a chance to review everything, and I do mean everything that's in this drawer, I don't know where I'm gonna put it, because this is pretty full, which is why I kind of want to expand the gouache wall into just a paint wall and eventually just redo the storage in here. Either way, I have plans for the future studio, but hopefully that also gave you a fun little behind the scenes and shows that you don't need a massive space to make art. You just need your own space to do things in. It's my creative space that I have to make art and make me happy, and hopefully showing you guys the space and showing what I work with makes you guys happy and inspire you guys to be creative, because this has been a challenge. You know, I would have preferred to have half of the garage as my studio, but I've done some pretty amazing stuff in this space. I'm really happy with it. I'm kind of sad to leave it behind, and I'll be making a new studio that's way bigger, be able to do larger projects, and even though I have filmed in advance and you will be seeing more of the studio in the future, this is it. This is the last video that I'm filming in here, so I guess this is goodbye to this space. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for putting up with this tour, and I appreciate you guys. Keep being creative, keep being awesome. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.